Hello there, this is Professor Eckhouse, and I'm going to talk today about finding averages and basic probabilities. We're going to look at mean, median, mode, and the probability of an event happening. So you're definitely going to need a calculator for this module, and for the knowledge checks, no phones are going to be allowed, so make sure you have your calculator with you every day. All right, so what does the term average mean? Pause the video if you need to think about what does it mean, how would you define it? And a lot of people say the middle. And that is a great answer. Average is basically a measurement of the middle. The thing is, though, that there are three ways to do that. Three ways. So the first way is called the mean. And that is what you're used to. That's generally what people call the average. Add up all the numbers and then divide by the number of numbers. Right, the second way that we measure the middle is called the median. The median. And that's going to be the middle number. And then the third is the mode, and we'll talk about that when we get to it. Mean, median, and mode are the three different types of averages that we're going to look at. So first we're going to look at the mean of a set of numbers. If you don't know this formula already, you might want to get that in your notes. So what you're going to do is you're going to find the sum of all the values, in other words, add them up, and then write the sum up in the top. N is the number of numbers, right? So the number of values goes in the bottom. All right, and then you're going to either have a fraction, which is simplified, or a decimal, or sometimes both. All right, so we're always, also, what about rounding? So you're going to round to one more decimal place than the given numbers. Okay, so like for instance, this next one, these are all to the ones place. So the next decimal place is the tenths place, tenth. So you would go to one more decimal place if you need to. All right, so let's find the mean of this set of numbers. So remember the mean. The mean is the sum of all the values over n. Well, what is n? N is the number of numbers, right? So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 numbers here. Okay, so that's going to be n. All right, the sum is going to be 6 plus 4 plus 15 plus 9 plus 12 plus 8. You can just put that in your calculator and divide it by 6. So if you're going to use your calculator, I would recommend just using the parentheses, and then you would hit the divide, and then 6, and then enter. Okay, so that is how you would get the answer. Use parentheses around, add them all up, and then divide by 6. All right, so when you do that, you should get 54 over 6, which is 9. So 9 is the mean, which is what we generally have always, before you did this, called average. And it is one of the three averages. All right, next question. The ages of a group of students in the downhill skiing club were listed. They're listed here. Find the mean age. Okay, so the mean is the sum over n. So what is n? You need to count the numbers, and you will find that there are 8 numbers there. So we're going to add all these up. 17 plus 2 18s plus 19 plus 2 20s plus 21 and 22 over 8 numbers. Okay, so when you do that, you're going to find that you get 155 over 8, or you can just put it all in your calculator all at once and get 19.375. And for the most part, we're going to, there is one problem in the homework that you don't round. I don't know why, but generally you're going to round, so the numbers up here are all to the ones place, right? So we need to go to the tenths place, which is that one. So we're going to see, what does the 7 do to the 19? And we're going to say it rounds to 19.4. Now these squiggly equal signs means approximately equal to, which means we rounded. Okay, so 19.4. All right, so when rounding, remember, we usually round to one more digit than the given numbers, except in the case of money, where we usually just go to the cent. Not always, but we usually go to the cent. And remember, cent is the hundredths place. Cent means 100, or hundredth, right? The hundredths place, the second decimal over. All right, so example 3. For 4 consecutive months, a home's heating bills are listed here. First, why do you think they're going up? They're consecutive, So why are they going up? Well, probably it's fall, like it is right now, while I'm teaching this in class, and the temperature is going down, so the heating bills go up. So go ahead and find the mean cost. You're going to have to add up the sum of the numbers, right? The sum. And you're going to divide by n. So first find n. N is 4 numbers. So 4 consecutive months. We didn't even have to count them. So add up the top and divide by 4. And when you add up those numbers, you're going to get 417.50. And there are 4 numbers. So you're going to get 104.375. Now, this is money. So we need to go to the hundredths place. So what is this 5 going to do to that 7? It's going to round it up to an 8. All right, so we're going to get $104.38 is the average, or the mean, the mean. See, it's a habit. All right, so that is the first kind of average. The second kind of average is the median. So when I think median, one way I remember this is I think about the median in the middle of the road. Right? If there's 2 lanes on one side and 2 lanes on the other, the median is right in the middle. Right? So if we've got the heights in inches of 5 people listed here, we put them in order, and then you find the middle one. Right? This is quite simple when there's an odd number, because there's always just 1 in the middle by itself. So the median here is 65. It's literally the middle number. All right, so the median, half the data values are less than or equal to, and half are greater than or equal to. How would it be equal to? Well, what if there was like, a 65 over here or a 65 over here? That just happened to be the middle one. So everything to the left is less than or equal to, and to the right is greater than or equal to. What if there's an even number of numbers? So what is the middle? Well, the middle is here, in between 62 and 65. Come on, 62 and 65, right in here. There's no number there. So what's the median? Well, so what we're going to do is we're going to say the median is halfway between these 2 numbers. So what I will often do in class is I will put a box around the 2, right, and make an arrow and say we are going to find the average or the mean of these 2 numbers. So 62 plus 65 over 2, because there's 2 numbers there, right? And that gives us 63.5. And that is halfway. If you put them on a number line, it would literally be halfway between 62 and 65. And notice there are 3 numbers below, and there are 3 numbers above now, this middle one. All right, so finding the median, you're going to list the numbers from smallest to largest. Do not forget this step. The answer will be wrong. Count how many numbers are in the set. That is n. If it's odd, if n is odd, the median is the middle value. If it's even, the median is the mean of the 2 middle values. All right, so find the median of this list right here. So pause the video and put them all in order and see if you can find the median. So you've got to write them in order. All right, so when I wrote this in order, I got 2, 3, 7, 9, 13, 13, 14. Okay, so you're going to count. Here's a 1 on the outside, 2, 3, oh, I'm left with this one in the middle. Okay, so I've got 3 over here and 3 over here. So the median is 9. Now then it says then find the mean. All right, so the mean is going to be the sum, right? The sum of all the numbers divided by, there are 6, 7 numbers. Sum divided by, let me just go put n, divided by n. All right, so the sum is going to be 61 when you add up all those numbers, divided by n, which is 7. There's 7 numbers there now. All right, now we're going to get 8.71428, and it goes on from there. It doesn't repeat, it just keeps going. All right, so these numbers are all of those numbers are to the ones place. So that means we need to take this to the tenths place. So what is the 1 going to do to the 7? You're going to get 8.7. It's not going to round up to an 8. 8.7. Okay, so the mean is 8.7. The median was 9, which are very close. All right. Find the median score on exams from the following list, then find the mean. So I would suggest I would suggest pausing the video and giving this one a try. All right, so hopefully you put these in order first. If you did not, your answer will be wrong, 67, and then 72. So here's what I recommend doing for this kind of problem is 67, you're going to cross out 72, then cross it out and go look for the next number. 75 is the next number, cross it out. 77 is the next number up. This is much easier with Excel. 85 is the next one because it'll sort it for you. Then 87 and 88. So 87, 88, 92, 93, 94, and 92, 93, 94, 97, and 100. All right, 97, 100. Okay, so the median. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, I have 2 in the middle. All right, so that means I'm going to have to find the mean of those two numbers. Well, what is halfway between 87 and 88? Hopefully you see that it is 87.5. If you don't see that, 87 plus 88 over 2 gives us 87.5. Okay, so that is the median because we had 2 in the middle. All right, so we're supposed to also find the mean. So the mean, you're going to just add all those things up, sum over n. All right, so the sum is going to be 1,027, and n, there are 12 numbers there. All right, so we get 85.583 repeating, and that is going to round to, well, all of those numbers go to the ones place, so we are going to take this to the tenths. And what is that 8 going to do to the 5? It becomes 85.6. Okay, so the median is 87.5, and the mean is 85.6. Okay, so the next topic is mode, mean, median, and mode. The mode of a set of numbers is the number with the highest frequency. The frequency means how many there are. How many there are. What's the frequency? So you're going to list the data values in order again. So once you've done it for median, you don't have to do it again. You've got it for mode. Count the number of times each value appears, and the mode is the value with the highest frequency. In other words, it's there the most. Okay. So let's look at an example. The ages in a college math class are listed below. So let's just look at that for just a moment. We've got 4 18s, and then we've got 3 19s, and we could do it like that, or we could actually just make a table. They're already in order, thank goodness. So here's what we call a frequency table of data, or frequency data table. Okay, so here's our frequency. So age 18, there are 4, like we counted right up above. 19, there are 3, just like we counted up above, and so on. Okay, so the frequency is listed for each age. In other words, how many people are that age? All right, so the mode is the one that appears the most times. It has the highest frequency. Which one is that? And I see that 20 has the highest frequency, which is 7. So what is the mode? Is it 7 or is it 20? The mode is 20. It's the number that appears the most. And we don't even have to say how many times it appears. It's the one that appears the most. It's 20. All right, so Excel is very helpful. Yes, very helpful. So when you've got a lot of numbers, it can do this automatically for you. You won't see that in this class, but in a science class or something, you're going to use Excel. All right, so this data lists the heights in inches of students in a statistics class. Identify the mode. All right, they're kind of all over the place, so you could go counting them, or you could make a frequency data table. So we don't have to put in numbers in between. So 56 has 1, 60 has 2. Notice there's no 57, 58, 59. There's none, so we just don't put them there. So we go and look for the one that has the most after making the table. So you're going to go count. If they're not in order, you could just cross them off and add. Go looking for all the 60s, add them all up, cross them off as you find them. Pretty straightforward. All right, so the one with the most is 67. So the mode is 6 or 67? It is 67. All right, so the next topic is find the probability of an event. So probability is the number of favorable outcomes, in other words, what it is you're looking for, divided by the number of possible outcomes. So I'm going to add possible outcomes. Okay, so the probability of you choosing a banana, if there are 5 pieces of fruit, and there are 3 bananas, would be 3 out of 5. All right, so let's look at an example. A Norwich Student Club is holding a raffle to raise money and sold 350 tickets. If you bought one, what is the probability that you will win the prize? So the probability is, remember, it's going to be the favorable outcomes. Well, there's only one favorable outcome. Your one ticket is you winning, right? And the number of possible outcomes is that there's 350 tickets. So there's your answer as a fraction, but we're also supposed to do it as a decimal. So 0.002857. And that's it. Those are our 2 answers. We're not going to percents yet. All right, so you don't have to worry about percent. The next question is, what if you bought 5 tickets? What if you bought 5? So you would have 5 favorable outcomes out of 350 tickets. And that reduces to 1 over 70. So that would be your fractional answer. And your decimal answer is just take 1 and divide it by 70, and you get 0.0142857 and so on. Okay? So you would have to wait, you see what the question asked in terms of where you should round. It might say round to the thousands place or round to 4 decimal places or something like that. And so you would just round to whichever one you're asked to round to. All right, 5 women and 7 men are interviewed for a job. Find the probability that the job is offered to a woman as a fraction and as a decimal. All right, so there are 12 total people, 5 plus 7, right? So we're going to say how many women, 5 women, are the favorable outcomes for this particular question. So what probability the job is offered to a woman. So that's considered our favorable outcome, divided by 12 people, 12 total people. Okay, so the chance that just if it was random and everyone was equally qualified would be 5 out of 12 then. Okay, 5/12. If you put that in your calculator, you're going to get 0.416 repeating, and you may need to round that to some decimal that you're told to round to in the problem. What if it was offered to a man? What's the probability of that? So the probability that it's a man, and I'm asking, what are 2 ways to do that? Well, the obvious one is to say 7 men out of 12 people. 7 men out of 12 people, and that's just 7/12, which is, I don't have the number, the decimal. I guess I didn't do it. So 7 out of 12, so give me a moment. 7 divided by 12 is 0.5833, 0.583 repeating. Now what I want you to notice here is that these add, the sum of these is 1. The sum is always 1. When you take the probabilities of everything and put them all together, add them up, it's 1. So the other way to find the probability it was offered to a man is to say 1 minus 5/12, the women. So this is the chance that it's a woman, and this is the whole, right? So you would get 7/12. Or you could subtract this, subtract 4.41666 from 1 and get the other number, get the decimal. Either way. All right, so I believe that is the end of my lecture, but I wanted to talk real quick about a deck of cards. A lot of people do not know what a deck of cards looks like. So there are 52 cards, and you need to know this to be able to answer probability questions. There are 52 cards. There are 2 through 10 number cards, right? And there are 1, 2, 3, 4 face cards for each suit. Okay, there are 2 black suits and 2 red suits. These are called clubs. These are hearts. These are diamonds, just like they look. And these are called, these are spades, not clubs, my eyes. All right, and these are clubs. All right, so you might be asked a question like, how many, well, let's see. What is the probability of picking a king? Probability of picking a king. Well, there's 4 kings, and there are 52 cards, and then you would just reduce it. Okay. What is the probability of picking a red 7? Well, there are only 2 red 7s, so 2 out of 52. What is the probability of picking a 2 of clubs? There's only one 2 of clubs, so 1 out of 52. What is the probability of picking a red card? Well, you can see by looking at it that it's half, 1 out of 2, but if you counted them all, you would have half of them, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 times 2. So there's 26 out of 52. All right, so you may be asked questions like that. Okay, that is all I have to say. Thanks for watching.